Oh my god, people, guess what? 2 Human is gonna be expensive in the future. You better get it before it's too late. Actually, no, it's free. It's free to download. Everybody, Scorpio Caesar here from the Super Retro Force. And today, we got more of the same. You see, the last video I did talking about FOMO buying for the Xbox 360 did really well, and the response, needless to say, has been tremendous. And I really do appreciate everybody for tuning into that video and leaving a comment down below. It's been nothing but positive, pretty much, for the most part. And yeah, there were some people that were saying, oh, don't be buying now, you're looking like a dumbass. It's kind of what I do, man. Pickups videos is what I've been doing on this channel for the longest time. It's kind of my thing. And it just so happens that I'm doing it for the Xbox 360 now rather than waiting for it later. Like, for crying out loud, people, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass and tell you need to go out and buy Damnation and 2 Human. It's so easy to shit out one of those videos, and there are thousands of them on YouTube and more pop up each day. I'm not here to add to that misery. I'm gonna talk about the games that I picked up, whether I think they're worth checking out or not, you be the judge. Anyways, with that out of the way, welcome to the cesArcade.
Get ready.
So I got quite a stack to talk about in today's video. I think I got a few more than the last one, and it's all good. We got a little bit of mixture here of exclusives. We got some multi-platforms, and some games you might have heard about, some games you might not have heard about. And I want to talk about each and every one of them, show some gameplay, and it's going to be like the last video, just, you know, bigger, better, maybe. I had to get a game I would have preferred on the Xbox 360 on the PS3. Generally speaking, I'm a FPS fan and I love playing those on a 360 controller. Unfortunately, this game is one of those games that seemingly disappeared off the face of the damn earth. It's gotta be those damn resellers, I swear to God. Most of these games are being sold by Canadians now. What the hell's going on here? Are they really from Canada? I wanna know. Anyways, the game in question I'm talking about here is Body Count. I don't know why. Game seemingly disappeared off the face of the earth. Now if you try to find an Xbox 360 copy, if it's not loose, you're probably gonna have to pay like 40-50 bucks for it. Like, people are asking ridiculous prices for the 360 version. Don't do it. Don't do it. Not worth it, honestly. I've played it. It's not bad, but it's not that memorable either. And people were saying something about this being the spiritual successor to Black, which honestly, kind of hard to say. Black was really, at the time, I don't know, the graphics in it were pretty nice, but also drab. This one adds a bit more color to it, and the guns look nice, and they feel nice. The shooting does feel really good, and I like how you can break off pieces of the environment and everything. All stuff Black did. You shoot enemies, kill them, and these little orbs pop out of them, and then you can pick them up, and I don't know, I don't get it. It's pretty cool though, from what I played. However, it ain't $50 good, trust me. I found this one show up on eBay on the PS3 for only 10 bucks. Honestly, that's how much I would have paid for it, and no more. Next up, we have a game. I believe this is one that's exclusive to the Xbox 360 and the PC. It's called Battle Stations Midway. Now, these Battle Stations games were released on the Xbox 360, and they were pretty good. There was Battle Stations Midway and its sequel, Battle Stations Pacific. Now, this one I picked up for, I didn't pay a lot for it, honestly, and it's still pretty affordable at this time. I paid maybe around $11 total with shipping. It's a Pacific war game that has a lot of strategy elements, so you have to really do a lot of positioning, especially with your ships, your submarines, your fighter jets, and you can control them all too, and it's really cool, but it can be a bit overwhelming, especially for me. I don't know why, but it is. And it's a bit more on the slower pace side, but it is still a fun game. And the best thing about it is that these games are also backwards compatible on the current gen Xboxes. So the good thing about that is that it cleans up any screen tearing you might have to deal with, any frame rate drops, it's all smoothed out. Definitely worth checking out the Battle Stations games because they're pretty awesome, and unfortunately, they never made more than 2. So definitely check it out if you get the chance. Next up, we got a game. I got this one dirt cheap in a claim sale from Young Treasures. They had this going for $7. I was like, whoa, hold up, wait a minute. I really want this game. The Bureau XCOM The Bureau XCOM Declassified. It's got its own little slipcase and everything. It's a spin-off of the XCOM games, which were real-time strategy games, and those also came out on consoles, but this one's a third-person shooter. However, it does have tactical elements in it, kind of like XCOM, so it's kind of a mix between both worlds. It takes place during the 1960s, so I really like that whole aesthetic when it comes to like those classic alien movies and those alien invasions. Definitely worth checking out. Again, this game you can get it dirt cheap. It's like $10. You can find it for 14 complete in its box with a slipcase on eBay or whatever. Like I said, I got it for $7 from Young Treasures, and I do not regret it one bit. Another game that's also backwards compatible with current day Xboxes. So probably want to check this one out if you like third-person shooters with a little bit of real-time strategy thrown in there for good measure. Next up, we got another game that nobody seemed to care about back when it came out. It came, it went, it was a Capcom game, and it is called Dark Void. This game got panned by critics, and I believe the user scores for this one were also not that great, but it's a third-person shooter, okay? And there's also a suit that you get in the game. The game actually, thankfully, starts off with the suit, and you're flying. I think it's pretty awesome. Did it set the world on fire? Definitely not, because I only paid like $1.50 for it, so like $7 after shipping. This game, you could get it on the PS3 as well. It runs just as fine on there, probably a little bit better on the Xbox 360, especially considering this is another game that is backwards compatible. The main character is voiced by Nolan North, so if you don't mind a little Nathan Drake thrown in there, yeah, there you go. Your main guy, it's basically Nathan Drake.
So check the flight plan 3 times over.
I swear to God, Nolan North was everywhere in this era of games. But yeah, Dark Void on the Xbox 360, PS3, don't matter. Still affordable. Definitely check this one out if you're a fan of third-person shooters and you like a little jank with it. Now this one has its detractors. It's it's infamous now. I paid $5 for this one, so I don't feel so bad, in a claim sale from Keisha Boy Games. And it is Rogue Warrior, a first-person shooter starring a main character voiced by Mickey Rourke, who plays the real-life founder of SEAL Team 6 and the US Navy's most efficient killing machine, Dick Marcinko. This guy spews expletives with every sentence, and it's kind of campy at this point.
What's your status?
It's a total goat fuck. Goddamn KPA were waiting for us.
Honestly, it's kind of so bad it's good just because of Dick Marcinko alone. I mean, Mickey Rourke does a fantastic job actually delivering the curses and the swears, and I'm gonna be honest with you, it's actually like the real Dick Marcinko. I mean, check out his book. He's got a bunch of expletives whenever he's describing something. It's kind of run-of-the-mill for a first-person shooter at the time, but for $5, can't go wrong. I don't see this game ever going up in price, honestly. If you like first-person shooters, again, with a little jank and a lot of swearing, Rogue Warrior is a game for you. I know my boy Dean Thompson from the Escape to Gaming really likes this one, so I'm not going to talk bad about it. I got to play more of it myself. Speaking of jank, I think that's like the theme in today's episode. We got another third-person game, kind of like a third-person shooter. Think The Suffering, but actually suffering while you're playing the game. I saw this pop up in somebody's video and I was like, never heard of this game. How bad could it be? Hot damn, Morph X is something else. Let's just say that. It's rough. Really rough. If, like I said, it feels like The Suffering in a way, in terms of like it being a third-person shooter slash combat game. It's not that great, honestly. Despite what people are going to tell you, yes, it's an exclusive, but this one going up in price, not worth it, honestly. Don't pay more than I did. I paid, what, $15 for it, and I Kind of regret it, but it may have its fans out there. Maybe I need to play more of it myself. I heard the main character actually starts transforming as the game goes on, and hey, in that case, maybe the game gets better. I still got to give it more of a go. So I want to be honest with you guys. If you see this game for more than $10, more than $15, don't bother. Unless the gameplay here looks really appealing to you. Next game I picked up in a claim sale from Cali Claims. She had it for around 13, 14 bucks. And I remember my brother-in-law telling me how it was a good game. Star Trek Legacy. Now personally, I'm more of a Star Wars guy. Sorry, not really big into Star Trek. My father loves Star Trek, my wife loves Star Trek. So I was like, you know what? If this is what I think it is, and it is, it's a space combat game, using all the ships from Star Trek up until this point of this game's release. I checked it out and I had no clue what the hell I was doing. I was just floating in space trying to make sense of the controls, and I somehow won the battle. It definitely has more of a simulation aspect to the combat, and if you're a fan of Star Trek, this is exclusive to the Xbox 360, and it's also on PC, but nobody cares about PC here. We're talking about consoles, man. Look behind me. It's probably worth checking out if you're a fan of Star Trek. Next up, one of those multi-platform games came out on PC first, came out on PS3 after this version came out, and this is the better version on the consoles. It's Fear. You're going to see this one a lot in a lot of people's list. This was the only one in the trilogy that I was really missing, and I held off long enough. I finally picked it up. This one in particular as well also shot up in price at some point when it was made backwards compatible along with the rest of the trilogy. Thankfully I waited, and the price has since dropped back down to reasonable levels. I think I paid around $17.25 total after shipping. Could be wrong, confirmation will be on the screen. Got it off eBay. I could have gotten it in the claim sale because I see it pop up from time to time, but I didn't. Also, if you're curious about what a claim sale is, it happens mainly on Instagram. I'll have a video here linked to explain what claim sales are. Honestly, I think it's the best way to collect games besides going to a retro game shop, obviously. So yeah, Fear, first-person shooter, horror game, definitely worth checking out the entire trilogy because once again, the entire trilogy along with Fear files are backwards compatible on modern day Xboxes. I love that backwards compatibility, man. That's the only thing Xbox got going for it these days. Alice Madness Returns. This was a sequel to the original American McGee's Alice. Back when it came out, I was so hyped for it. I picked it up, I beat it. I loved the game. I loved the aesthetics, I loved the gameplay. It's an action, hack and slash kind of adventure that gets really dark in places, and trust you, it lives up to its M rating. This game is no joke. Really bloody, really violent, and like I said, the themes that it tackles in this game are pretty rough. But it's such a good game, no matter what you get it for. The cool thing about the console version is that it actually had an online pass. Remember online passes? Them shits were stupid. But what the online pass was, the American McGee's Alice was unlockable, and you can play the original game that never got a console release up until this point. So that is pretty cool. Another cool thing about it, apparently since it's backwards compatible on current day Xboxes, that American McGee's Alice is free to download. It's free. And I don't think they're charging any more for online passes. I think most of them are pretty dead. It was a stupid idea in the first place. Check Alice Madness Returns out. I absolutely adore this game. This game stays around the same price. I never see it go any higher than around the $30 price range. I see it pop up on claim sales all the time, and I see it pop up on eBay for around the same price. That's around the price I paid for it, $30. Is it worth it? In my honest opinion, hell yes. I love this game.
Need money.
And last but not least in today's episode, we have Need for Speed Most Wanted, the original Most Wanted. Now, this is a launch title game that still carries the same price that it had when it came out back when it launched on the Xbox 360. I can't believe it. This game, I see it go for around $60 and up. Why is a launch title for the Xbox 360 so damn expensive, especially one that was multi-platform? The reason being is that it was multi-platform for the 6th generation of consoles. The 7th generation only got a version on the Xbox 360, and since that's the best version, in my honest opinion at least, that's the one that's most expensive and sought after. For me personally, this is when Need for Speed peaked. Ever since this one, it all went downhill. Although Hot Pursuit was also pretty good. You remember Razor Callahan? First I'm gonna take your ride, then I'm gonna take your girl. I hated that bastard. But nowadays, it's so campy and fun. Need for Speed Most Wanted is still one of my favorite games on the Xbox 360. Cali Claims had it in a claim sale for $60. I was like, is there any way I can bring the price down on this? So we worked out a deal and I was able to trade her my Switch copy of Dark Souls Remastered. I don't plan on playing that on the Switch ever again. Knocked it down to $30 and definitely worth it at that price range. You can get it on any console, it's still a great game, but me personally, Xbox 360 is where I experienced it originally, and this is the version that I'm happy with. So anyways, that's it for today's episode of Xbox 360 FOMO collecting. Yeah, I know I use that word. It's a catchy word, isn't it? Yeah, I don't like the implications that it brings. FOMO is never a good thing. Let's face it. My honest advice when it comes to collecting for the Xbox 360, the system's been out for a long time, yes. If you want to collect for it now, be smart about it. Use eBay as a last resort. Search with the filter newly listed for the more rarer titles. Occasionally you're going to see somebody slipping. They're going to list the game for a cheaper price than everybody else's, and that's when you strike. If it's a more common game, always search with the filter lowest price plus shipping. And trust me, you're not going to pay a whole lot for some of these games in particular. Or you can not FOMO buy. You can simply wait it out till the store closes. Wait maybe a few months, maybe down the line, wait a year. Prices will most likely drop down anyways for some of these titles, especially the rarer ones. Is it a guarantee? Not really, but it's always possible. Remember, the PlayStation 3 had a similar surge when they announced the store closure for that. But the difference being here was that the store closure was postponed. Sony saw the backlash and was like, oh, we don't want to deal with this right now, we'll keep it up. So then prices gradually came back down. You see, that might not be the case with Xbox 360 games because the store is officially closing and they haven't shown any signs of letting up. I already gave you my advice, and that's all I can really give from now on. And I'm just trying to be genuine and honest here. Some people were saying I was being a fool by buying games now for the Xbox 360. Listen, I got a really healthy Xbox 360 collection that I'm really proud of, but there are a ton of loose ends on the console that I still want to pick up. And there are a lot of loose ends, so back to it. So if you played any of these games growing up, or you have any fond memories with any of them, let me know in the comments section down below. I really would like to hear your opinion. And remember, I always take the time to respond to you. Might be a day late or so, depending on how many I get, but I'll respond, no doubt. So anyways, thank you for tuning in to today's video. Like I said before, this is me buying up games for my personal collection. You may be different, you may emulate things. And if you like to emulate, that's up to you. I'm not gonna judge you. Like I said, I'm not here to create any panic for any of you fellow collectors. I'm just doing what I love doing on this channel and sharing my opinion and stories of these games with all of you. Some may think it's foolish, but at least majority of you feel that I'm doing it the right way. So anyways, thank you all for tuning in to today's episode. We have another video like this where I check out the video game store in Wilkes-Barre, PA, and I bought up a ton of Xbox 360 games on the cheap. Don't want to miss that one. That one is coming out next week. And remember to check out the Super Retro Force, an awesome team of like-minded video gamers on YouTube that share pickups videos, talk about video games, retro, modern, all that great stuff. I really do appreciate you all for tuning in, and remember, I wish you all a good game and good night, and don't frickin' panic.
Super Retro